August 1999. I didn't want to watch Channel 21 after that booby episode, but in August I grew more curious to see Mr. Bear's cellar for some reason. The last episode I saw of Mr. Bear was weird and had swearing, which also made me think the show was meant for teenagers. Nonetheless, I flipped on to Channel 21 when my dad was busy. Mr. Bear's Cellar, episode 28. Apparently this episode had been playing the entire month of August. This episode was studied a lot by police, and the entire episode was just Mr. Bear sitting in a chair talking to the audience. "Hello, kids. Do you want to visit my cellar? If you do, please write me a letter at this address." The screen then switched to a white screen with multicolored letters reading the address, and that was what remained for the rest of the episode. And guess what I actually did? I sent Mr. Bear, or that sick bastard who betrayed him, a letter. I did it out of curiosity mostly. My dad was okay with it because he thought it was a legit kid show, but then again, he never saw any of what was on Channel 21. So I wrote a letter using my best writing possible. I think I just said how I wanted to meet Mr. Bear and if Booby also lived in the cellar. So my dad sent the letter to the address Mr. Bear said on the show. It stayed on all day for some reason. It took about a week to get a response, which I was actually surprised it did. I still have the letter I received August 15th. The letter reads, "Dear Elliot, thank you ever so much for your letter. I would love to have you in my cellar. We play games, watch movies, and go fire camping in the middle of the woods. And yes, Booby does live in my cellar. He is a good friend of mine. Come to my house at..." The police cut out this address. "Calden, Ontario, Canada. I look very forward to having fun with you. Love, Mr. Bear." I can't believe my dad never found this sketchy, because he actually took me to the house. And that's when the police became involved. Those endless questions. Those pictures of terrified kids. The woods. That brings me to why I'm writing this blog. That Psycho and his friends did some fucked up shit back then, and now it seems he's trying to get into contact with me again. The entire police thing is coming back. That's brought 1999 back to me. Over a decade later, it's happening again. 1999 update. September 21st, 2011. People have been emailing me asking me what exactly happened in 1999. I will get to that. Those weird TV shows I was watching apparently were meant to attract kids to Mr. Bear's house. What Mr. Bear did shocked the entire town. My dad actually drove me to Calden, along with the address Mr. Bear left on the letter. The house was actually in the outskirts of the town, in the open farmland. I still remember that house. It looked like an older farmhouse that looked to have been built in the early 1900s. The windows were all boarded up, and the house looked in a state of disrepair. As we walked up to the house, I remember my dad checking the address over and over again, and looking at the house in disbelief. Then the door opened. I expected Mr. Bear to be at the door, but I was surprised to see a police officer emerge from the creaking door. The officer began to talk to my dad, while I quickly asked if that was Mr. Bear's house. The officer's face cringed slightly, and he muttered, "Oh God," or something like that. He started talking quietly to my dad so I couldn't hear, although my dad told me to go to the car anyway. And then we just went home. My dad was quiet the whole way home. I felt something strange had happened. My dad never told me what happened for a while. I forgot about it anyway, too. Channel 21 no longer came on, and when I asked about it, my dad would not acknowledge its existence. I think it was when I was 13 where I learned the truth. I remembered Channel 21 one day and asked my dad about it. I guess he finally decided I should hear the truth. Calden Local 21 was a local TV channel that ran from October 1997 to August 1999 in the Peel region of Ontario. The entire channel was made from a house in Calden, the one that I visited, and run by a man who was not really known by anyone in the town. The channel was only available to older TVs because the signal was one only picked up by rabbit ears. Weaker frequency. The man created all the shows on the channel, all of which were kid shows. His hand was Booby, and he was Mr. Bear, and he was also the mysterious cameraman. The real reason he created the channel was more disturbing than what was originally thought. As you might have already guessed, he kidnapped the kids and held them in a cellar. But while most people thought he was a serial child molester, he really wanted to use those kids for another purpose. The day Ira arrived, the man had fled his house the night before. The day before the police went in for their investigation. I wasn't the only one who was watching. August 1999. I didn't want... Fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this recording. August 1999. I didn't want to watch Channel 21 after that Booby episode. In August, I grew more cautious to see Mr. Bear's cellar for some reason, though. The last episode I saw of Mr. Bear was weird and had swearing, which also made me think the show was meant for teenagers. Nonetheless, I flipped onto Channel 21 when my dad was busy. Mr. Bear's Cellar, episode 28. Apparently, this episode had been playing the entire month of August. This episode was studied by a lot of police. The entire episode was just Mr. Bear singing... Mr. Bear, and if Booby was also there, I'd like to see him too. So my dad sent the letter to the address Mr. Bear said on the show. I stayed out. Fuck! I was surprised to see a police officer emerge from the creaking door. The officer began to take my... fuck sakes. Gotta do this again. Update. February 1st, 2012. I'm sorry I haven't posted anything for a while. I kinda lost interest in this vlog since I hit a stand. So, well, fuck, I'm gonna have to redo this. Fuck! 1990 back. Fuck! That one part always gets me. Okay, stop the recording. I received August 15th, 1999. The letter read, Dear Elliot, thank you ever so much for reading... Okay. I'm gonna try that again. I had swearing, which also made me think the show was meant for teenagers. Nonetheless, I flipped onto Channel 21 when my dad was busy. Mr. Bear's Cellar, episode 21. Fuck sakes! Learn the truth. I remember trying... Okay, I can do this. I can fucking do this.